all of a sudden you feel that there is a kind of humidity, and that humidity put us into a very typical situation. We find ourselves into that very cloud, the cloud that has covered. Just imagine that there is a black cloud and it has covered the sky and it is humid. Suddenly, a soft rain. Here you see, gently weep. Here, the, the raindrops are compared to the tears. Whose tears? Samuel, it has two meanings. As the poet is in the sad mood, he is sitting alone, lying alone in his bed in the cottage, and then he was thinking about something. Suddenly, a gentle rain, a soft rain, starts drizzling. What bliss? Bliss is a happiness. How it is a happiness? Dear children, nature plays a very important role. It is one of the greatest catalysts. How it is the greatest catalyst? It helps us to change our surrounding. The mood, the poet was lying in his bed chamber in a cottage and he was sad. He was sad. He was not happy. But as the rain starts, just imagine the rain starts and it helps us. It helps the poet to change its mood. So he called it is a bliss. It is a happiness. How it is a happiness? He called that it is a happiness to press, to lie on that pillow. The poet is lying on that pillow of the cottage chamber. Chamber is the bedroom, the cottage. In the cottage there was the poet that he was lying in the cottage and it was a kind of a chamber. And listening. What he was listening? The pitter patter. The pitter patter, the drizzling of the rain he is listening. He is listening it. And of the soft rain overhead. He heard the soft rain that is falling. Here, in the very first stanza, the poet talks about the rain. The rain that is drizzling. How it is drizzling? It is drizzling softly. It is drizzling lightly. And it helps the poet to change his mood. He was unhappy. He was sad. But hearing the sound of the rain, hearing the pitter patter sound of the rain, the poet was happy. The poet was overjoyed. So you see how nature plays a very important role in bringing about the change in the mood of the poet. That is what the poet hits upon. Now come to the second stanza. Every tinkle, every drop on the shingles has an echo. Just dip, dip, drip, tip. It is echoing as if the rain is not falling on the roof. It is falling on the heart of the poet. And it is creating an echoing sound, vibrating sound. It is creating a echo sound, the vibrating sound, and 1,000 voices. And that echo that has created due to the rain takes the poet into that past memory. It takes the poet into the lane of the past memory. The poet recalls about his mother, the mother who was affectionate, who was lovable, who was caring, who was sympathetic, who was full of benevolence. So here you see how the relationship between the poet and the mother. It was so affectionate that the drops of the rain reminds him about the love, the care, the sympathy, the everything that was given by his mother. It recalls recollections. What are those 1,000 recollections? Here, exaggeration. What is a poetic exaggeration over here, my dear friend? Exaggeration is something that when you mention something more or less than that, it may not be the thousands of the recollections. It may not be able to read. The poet may not be able to recollect thousands of the memory, but at the same time, he is at least able to learn, to recall the past memory. So, dear children, here you see how the rain is helping the poet to recall its past memory. Then come dreamiest recollections, weaves their air threads. It starts weaving. It starts recalling. When you weave, you start knitting. The weaver tells this, the storyteller is also weaver. Weaving, you know, somebody weaves the clothes. So the weaving is there. The weaving, recollection of the weaving is going on. The recall of the old memories. The recall of old memories is going on. So here you see, my dear children, that how beautifully the poet has taken you into that memory of the past with that the poet has recalling about. So take into the womb as I listen. Who is I? The poet. As he listened, the patter of the rain upon the roof. Here, the very simply, the poet tells very simply that when the rain starts falling, and it starts falling on the roof, the very echoing sound of the rain creates a echoing sound, and it takes the poet into that memory of the past, and he starts recollecting it. Now, till here, you come to know that the how rain helps. How rain is helping the poet to recall his past. It also tells about the bond, the relationship, the bond of love between the parent and the child. Here you dear children, my dears, as parents are the most precious gift that the God has given. God cannot go anywhere. So he made parents. Parents are the form of God. It is the God that the God has gifted. Your parents are your blessings. So it is high time that you respect, you follow the instructions of your parents in the same way you regard the God. the Almighty God, the, the most powerful. Now, the next passenger, the rain, as you have already known, rain, as we have already discussed, that how the rain helps, takes the poet into the memory of that past. Then he talks about, now in the memory comes my mother, the past memory. The mother comes as he used to in the past. Used to is a habit, something that was in the past, it is in the present, and it will remain in the future. The mother used to, years ago, very long before, to regard the darling dreamers and to respect those dear, lovable things that leave the people's dreams. And she left them till the dawn. And till the morning. The darling dreams of her mother. What is the darling dream? That the darling dreams of the dream of her mother. The mother that she comes in and left them all the time. Oh, I feel her fond look on me. The poet felt that the mother in her dream is looking fondly, lovingly. If you are fond, lovingly, affectionately, the mother is looking at the face of the poet affectionately, lovingly. As I listed this, by which is the play upon the shores, by the patter, and this patter of the rain helps to recall the poet about the rain. Here, my dear children, in the stanza number 1, the poet is talking about the gift of nature. It is one of the greatest gifts, the greatest physician. Nature has given us greatest physicians. Time is the greatest physician. If you give time to some problem, solution will be solved. It is well said that time is the greatest healer. Time is the greatest healer. It helps us to heal. Now, the next greatest physician that the God has gifted is His Son. It is the sun. The next is the air. Just can you imagine the oxygen that is given on the ventilator when a patient is put on ventilator? And when you will see the bill of that ventilator, you will amazed to see, my God, that much a bill of a single cylinders of gas, that is oxygen, that is being provided through ventilation system, then you will come to know. The air that you are breathing you are paying nothing, my dear children. You are getting free of cost. You don't understand what is how much you are owing to the God. Just see the bill of a single day ventilator. You are put on a single day ventilator, at least 5,000 per day minimum. So every day 5,000 rupees you are owing to the God, because He is giving you air to breathe in. But we have never counted that blessings. We have never counted that blessings. That blessing of the God is the next position. Time, sun, and the air. These are the greatest physician. The cycle of the nature keeps on rotating. As the earth revolves around the sun, it brings about the change. So change of the season is also the greatest physicians. It keeps us healthy and gives many food. The food that we are eating, we are getting from the nature. So here, one of the greatest physicians, the rain, the poet is talking about. Here rain become a catalyst. How? It helps the poet to change his mood. The poet was lying in his bed chamber, in a cottage chamber, in a solid, he was lonely. Just imagine, he was lying on a bed alone, and he was all alone. He was in solitude. Then a humid cloud covers the sky, and it starts raining. It was a gentle rain, as if the sky is weeping. Here the rain is being compared to the gentle tears. Here the gentle tears are the tears of the cloud. So here the tears of clouds are the rain. So it reminds about the symbolism, the gentle rain that is falling on what? On his skin. And when it is falling, it is creating an echoing sound. Drip, drop, drip, drop. It is creating an echoing sound. And that echo sound takes the poet into that lane of the past memory. He recalls about his mother, the mother who was very much affectionate, who was very much caring, who was very, very, very affectionate towards the poet. So the bond of love between the poet and his mother is being overhit. And here you see that how lovingly, fondly, here you see, oh, I feel her fond look. Had the look, the poet could feel how strong that feeling, that memory was. Just you understand the relationship, the great depth of relationship between the poet and the poet. Mother is looking lovingly, fondly at his face. So, my dear children, listen to this refrain, and after that, a flood of memory, flood of good memories, happy memories start from. Dear children, psychology tells us that we should recall our happy memories. Happy memories help us to take into that lane, at least for that time being, when you are in a stress, when you are in some problem. Try to recall, try to recall, try to recall. What do you try to recall? Recall all those good memory, all those good days that you have spent. Recall that you are sitting in your garden, your parents are with you, your family is with you, and you are playing, enjoying happily, and this will take you to get over your sadness. The poet is in sad mood, he is unhappy, and rain makes him happy. So here are the two different how nature can help us to happy. It is nature that is the greatest teacher, the greatest healer. And I already told you that these are the greatest gift that the God has given. Now it is your turn, my dear children. I want to ask you, if you have any problem, you please ask me one by one. Please, start. Hello. Good. Children, if you have any problem, please ask me. Please ask. Hello. Any problem, my dear children?
Sir, what is melancholy darkness?
Pardon?
What is melancholy darkness?
Dark, melancholy. Melancholy is a sad beta. Melancholy means sad. The word melancholy tells about the sadness in the environment as well as the sadness of the poet's mind. Here it has two meanings. Both the poet is sad, and due to as the black cloud has covered the sky, it has created a sad environment. It has created a sad environment. So here the poet wants to hit upon the meaning by the melancholic darkness. Darkness is darkness, something you blackish, and melancholy the sad. The sadness of that has covered, that has hit. The sadness has hit the poet. The poet was sad. He was lying alone in his cottage chamber, and due to as the sky is covered with the black cloud, so it has created a sad environment, a sad atmosphere. Here the melancholic darkness tells about the sad atmosphere and the sad mood of the poet. Next. Hello. Next, anybody? Anybody over here? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Come on. If anybody wants to ask anyone, please ask. Come on, hurry up. We have a very short time.
What is air thread?
Please, what?
What is air thread into woof?
Tears. The air thread. The air thread into the woof. The air thread is the memory. The past memory that the poet is trying to recollect that the air thread is talking about the past memory that the poet recalls when he hears the pitter patter of the rain on the roof of the house of the cottage where he was lying alone in his chamber, and he, the past memory. So air threads into the air cannot be threaded. So he start recollecting the stories and the love that was given